A member of our learning community brought a question to one of our coaching calls about a client of theirs that kept coming back after sessions, sending emails asking questions. And our member was saying, well, yeah, they should just be getting another session. And it was starting to cause some resentment and upset. And this is Mark Silver with Heart of Business. This is a really common situation, right? We see it all the time, that usually a single session is just not enough to handle everything that a client wants covered, and that often something will then come up in response to what's being worked on. So that resentment, that reaction, totally normal, totally human, and I want to give two answers to this. The first answer is how to reconfigure your business so that doesn't happen. The reconfiguring has to do with thinking about the fact that if this is a common thing, that people want questions answered, that you build it into the package, that you set up a package, even if you're still selling individual sessions. And if you've been following me for a while, you know that I recommend having people commit for more than a single session at a time so that they can be in a container of support rather than making a purchasing decision every single session. But some people are doing individual sessions, that's fine. But just create that offer, craft that offer so that it includes the session and a follow-up email answering some loose end questions that arise from that. People process information in all different ways. Some people process it quickly and can come up with questions during the session. Many of us need time to process what's happened, and then the questions come up later. And that's totally human. We want to make space for that. So you can just craft an offer that includes a follow-up email with a few questions. Now you can, define the scope of that so that you're not, pouring out your heart for hours answering questions on email, but you can say, I'm willing to, this offer includes a follow-up email from you with, a couple of questions that I can answer, relatively quickly, just to clear up misconceptions or to kind of help you with the next steps. If they're more in-depth questions, those are good topics for the next session. So by framing it that way and pricing it appropriately to include the time that you're going to be responding to that email, you're going to feel a lot better, and you're going to be setting up a healthier expectation with the client. Now, if you haven't set this up and you're dealing with this situation, you can basically do the same kind of thing. You can, maybe even more briefly, say, this is great, I'm glad that you're chewing on this topic, I'm glad that it's engaging you and these are great questions. I'm going to give you what I can in this short email, but I want to recommend that the questions you're bringing up are actually larger than I think you might get. Like it appears like a simple question on the surface, but there's a lot here. And I want to recommend another session to go more deeply into this, or a course or a resource. You do not have to feel obligated to answer their questions in depth. And you can name when something is a short little, yep, here, let me give you a little bit there. And when the client just genuinely doesn't get that, yeah, this is a big question and requires something more in depth, like another session or another resource. Paid, of course. So, there's no reason to get caught up in resentment with clients. You can craft your business so that you can be generous with your clients, you can meet them and give them what they need, and they can compensate you appropriately. So, let this rest into your heart, see how it feels. I'm curious about any questions. I'm sure there's individual situations that seem like they don't fit into what I'm describing, and I'd just be curious to hear what you think. Blessings to you and your business.